A mass vaccination hub is being set up in Brisbane to speed up delivery of the Pfizer vaccine, with thousands of doses to be administered per day by this weekend. It comes as some residents celebrated their first night out of lockdown, while more than 12,000 others remain in home isolation. And the virus marches north in New South Wales. Lexi Hamilton-Smith reports.
They partied long
Lockdown's over!
and hard.
Amazing! Thank you, Annastacia.
Freedom after a week stuck at home.
You know, we haven't been able to go to school, we haven't been able to go out, so this is just it's just a good vibe.
But authorities are worried some are not wearing masks and that not all venues are ensuring social distancing.
It does look like a number of businesses are operating at full capacity.
Back at school, hundreds of thousands of students have had to don face masks for the first time.
Masks are a bit annoying, but we'd rather be at school, like having those interactions with our teachers, than be home learning.
It's mandatory for anyone over 12, but some Catholic schools are telling upper primary students to wear them as well, as they have all ages on one campus.
Often in the same classes, in the same facilities with the same teachers.
There were just 5 new cases overnight, a returned traveller and 4 linked to the Indooroopilly cluster.
All of our cases were in quarantine during their entire infectious period.
It's good news, but spare a thought for the 12,000 people still in home quarantine, like the Douglas family.
We're on day 11. It's been pretty tough with the kids socially. They're missing school.
Both hairdressers, lockdown has seen their salon shut down too.
For 14 days, we've probably lost about $15,000 to $20,000.
Snap lockdowns are set to continue until we get the vaccination rate to over 70%. This mass hub at the Brisbane Convention Centre is designed to supercharge the rollout.
We want to see as many people in Queensland vaccinated as quickly and as safely as possible.
It will open on Wednesday, offering up to 1,500 Pfizer vaccines a day to anyone aged 16 years and over. The hub will operate 7 days a week. There'll be free parking but no walk-ins, so people need to book online. The centre will also offer AstraZeneca to people due for a second dose. The vaccine blitz hasn't come in time to save an iconic Queensland event. The Birdsville races due next month have now been postponed as desperate businesses across the state try to stay afloat.
We are in a position where we are struggling. It's now 18 months of difficult times.
But this is the new norm, with more lockdowns beckoning until we can win the COVID battle. Lexi Hamilton-Smith, ABC News, Brisbane.
Health authorities have confirmed the link between a reef pilot and a taxi driver who've both tested positive for COVID-19 in Cairns. The driver was out in the community while infectious for 10 days, plunging the city into a snap 3-day lockdown. While the far north had no new cases today, the full picture might not be known for some time.
Deserted streets, doors closed. The tropical city of Cairns has ground to a halt. Ankush Sharma's cafe is reduced to takeaways only on day 1 of the 3-day lockdown.
It's going to have an impact on practically every business that we have in Cairns because it's a close community. We depend a lot on local trade.
And unfortunately, the tourism industry in this part of the world is in the very depths of despair right now.
A taxi driver who tested positive after being infectious in the community for 10 days has prompted the shutdown. Health authorities have confirmed a direct link between him and a local reef pilot who tested positive last week.
So the marine pilot actually travelled in that person's taxi. So a lot of contact tracing is now happening, of course, with those exposure sites.
For Cairns, it's vital that you are now in lockdown for 3 days while we work out all the contacts of this taxi driver.
It's prompted more calls for people to get vaccinated.
The taxi driver who's tested positive in this case hadn't yet been vaccinated. As a man in his 60s with pre-existing health problems, we really would have liked him to get vaccinated.
Pop-up testing clinics have sprung up across the city. with queues snaking along the Cairns Esplanade. Although Cairns may not have registered any new local cases, it's not off the hook yet. Authorities are still waiting on the results from private testing clinics, which do the bulk of the checks here. Those results may not come back for another 24 hours. The lockdown couldn't have come at a worse time for a region that's heavily reliant on tourism.
We were already locked out of tourism because of the lockdowns elsewhere in the country. Now we're in full lockdown. We've gone from 85% down to 100% down.
An industry usually worth $2.5 billion a year to the region is desperately calling for more financial help.
We had JobKeeper last time. We'd really like JobKeeper this time, but something like that is needed now.
With the area now declared a hotspot, affected workers can apply for disaster payments for as long as the lockdown lasts. Christy Sexton McGrath, ABC News, Cairns.
In Sydney, COVID has taken another life, a woman in her 90s. Another 283 people have caught the virus in the state, but only about 100 were in isolation. While infectious, the virus is also spreading deeper into regional New South Wales. A large part of the state's north has just gone into lockdown, including Tamworth and Byron Bay. Bronwyn Herbert joins us from Lismore. Bronwyn, what triggered this lockdown?
Well, what's led to this lockdown is a positive COVID case emerging. A man from Sydney has been staying in the Byron area and he required hospitalisation and was taken to Lismore Base Hospital yesterday, where he later tested positive. The Byron Shire Mayor has told the ABC that this man had been in Sydney and where he'd been with his wife who had COVID. And what we do know is that the man, while he has been out and about across the Northern Rivers region, has not been using QR codes or checking in, which is making it particularly difficult for police and contact tracers. And Dr Kerry Chant from New South Wales Health said he has been infectious in the community for some time.
We understand he did travel from Sydney earlier in towards the end of July. He is currently being re-interviewed, and we are also arranging urgent testing of his 2 household contacts.
That's Dr Kerry Chant, and the lockdown is expected to be lifted by Tuesday week.
All right, Bronwyn Herbert in Lismore, thank you.